Hi everyone, it's Jen from Scrap and Passion. I am here with an Artistic Studio Creation Design Team project. And this one is using scraps. I have made a total of 3 mini albums from the Princess collection from Graphic 45. And this one is of 5.5 by 4.25 with a 2-inch spine and everything, including that chipboard or scrap chipboard from my other projects. So after I share this with you, I'm going to show you how I do the pages. I did not go through how to do the actual album cover itself, and this is using the stack the page system, which I've done plenty of times. So I'll just link a random cover video with hinge system down below, and then the actual pages. This is all one kind of page, so it's a very simple album to start with. And it's small, so it didn't take a whole lot of time. And yeah, this is, like I said, using all scraps. I have a parchment little folder here that I put in each of the pockets to hold down the flap. So it's a pocket flap on one side and then a large flap on the other. So this is the page 1. Flip it over. This is page 2, and it has a flap on it, or maybe you could say this is all one page, but it looks like 2 separate pages because of the flap that's added. I use the back or even the front of some of the 4x6 journaling cards for my pages, so it adds interest, especially when you're working with scraps and a lot of your signature images are gone, or you just don't feel like fussy cutting them. Yeah, so there's a small flap there, which would be good for a little picture or maybe some journaling, and then a big like fold out. You can also put as many things in your pockets as you want. I use some of the stickers because I had some of those left, and then these nice big flaps on the pages that are almost, other pages are almost like another set of pages. Gives you room for lots of journaling and pictures. So then you could keep adding. If you have more scraps to use, you could add as many of these flaps as you want, as long as you don't overfill your book. I don't think that this one's at capacity. I could have definitely used another flap if I wanted to, but this gives you lots of room to add stuff too. So super quick flip through because it is a super small mini and a fairly simple one. So that is that, like I said, pocket, small flap, large flap on the back. I also use, this is actually Stampin' Up! Ribbon. I thought it went well, the color went well, and then I used some sheer gold ribbon. So that is the book, and then I just couldn't stop myself. It was Earth Day, and I thought, no more scraps. This is what I always do, so I actually made these cards, and I think I ended up with almost 30. Some of them are very simple, which is just the signature page. Some of them just have the journaling cards popped up on them. These, I did some paper quilting in the back. Chantel from the ASC group did a live video on that. Some of them I don't have decorated on the inside yet, but I'll be making some boxes for these and maybe getting like 8 or a dozen in a box. This one's exactly the same as the other one. So yeah, just using up all the scraps. Literally have just a few left, and I'll show you what those are because I have them right here. I also use my scraps on the inside of the cards to kind of like bring them all together. These are the sideways ones. This one was just a journaling card and a sticker with a scrap behind it. So when you're making your cards, just, I was starting to run out of full-size paper here, so this one's kind of pieced together. When you're making your cards, just don't be afraid to commit. Glue that stuff down. It's still going to have a big impact, even if it's simple. The ribbons help, and then I was also going to put some Nuvo drops on them, but I just didn't get around to it. This one has, this is a sticker. It has a spot for a sentiment on it, which I have to still stamp, and then there's another one that definitely needs a little love. It needs a stamp. Here's a couple of stickers. So yeah, it's a super simple way to use your scraps and make a big impression. Plus, people love getting these cards if they're a card giver for gifts. This is a quilted background, and I put one of the little sticker postage stamp size stickers there, so you could see the background still. This was a quilted background. I actually did this when I was really tired and I messed up the quilting on it. So I covered most of it, but I should have known better. It still came out okay. There's a quilted card. Yeah, so there's about 30 of these that I got, and I really didn't have a whole lot left when I started them. So I may go ahead and use the rest of my scraps for the insides of these cards. Now these are quilted cards that don't have any big embellishment on them, and you can kind of see the technique. It's what you do with your long strips of paper that typically we throw away. You don't have to anymore. You can use them for a quilted card. And if you guys want to see how to do that, let me know. And I'll either see if Chantel's going to do a video, or I can do a video and just let her know. So yeah, and then the border strip, I just think that's really neat. This one I just tied a bow across. And here is a place that I need a sentiment. Of course, on the inside too, I can always stamp. And then there we go. So just some scraps that I used, and literally this is all that is left. So like I said, I may do like ATC cards. I have 2 4x6 cards left. I could probably do a couple more cards, but I think I have enough. So maybe I'll decorate my card boxes with this paper. So yeah, head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy. Get your Graphic 45 collections. They always have the best, latest and greatest, and sometimes they have some older ones too. It's a smaller shop, so she doesn't sell out, whereas where other people would be sold out, she gets enough for her people and then maybe a little bit extra. So head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy, asccraftsupplies.com. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off your normal priced items. And yeah, comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the page design on this particular mini album. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, it's Jen from Scrapping Posh, and I am here with a mini album made of scraps, and I'm working with the Princess collection, and I'm just still not done with it. So I started making cards, and then I decided that I had way too much to make cards, so I'm going to make this all one-page mini album. So I made the cover like I normally do, and the cover measures about 4.5 by 5.5 with a 2-inch spine. I think it's actually more like 4.5 by 5.5 with a 2-inch spine, and we're going to use the hidden, or not the hidden system. We're going to use the stack the page system that I've been using because it's just my new favorite thing. I like using it. So I have everything pre-cut here. We're just going to go through and make the album. I kind of wanted to get this done before work today because I have to go to the gym tonight, and then I have a Facebook Live tonight, hopefully, as long as my contractor doesn't show up and make a whole bunch of noise. So what I have here are my pages, and the first page is 5 by 9.5. If you haven't seen the stack the page system, it's a pretty simple idea. You just make your pages instead of hinges. So my pages I want to be 5 by 3 3/4. So what I do is you add page, spine, page. So 3 3/4 plus 3 3/4 with a 2-inch spine is 9.5. That's where you get that. And you score at 3 3/4, and on the first page you score 2 inches over, so that would be 4 3/4, 5 3/4. So there's your 2-inch spine, 3 3/4, 2-inch spine, 3 3/4. And then your next page is going to be a 1/2 inch smaller, so it's going to be 5 by 9. And again, we're going to score at our page width, which is 3 3/4. But instead of a 2-inch spine, this one's only going to be 1.5 inches. Gusset, I guess is what we'll call it. So 1.5 inches. You can do the math, or you can just take your page and say that's going, your first page, and say it's going to be a 1/2 inch smaller, so it's going to be 5 1/4. So if you don't want to do the math, you don't have to. And that sits right on top, and you can see how it's smaller. And then again, this one's a 1/2 inch smaller. In width, it's 5 by 8. We're going to hold the 3 3/4 page size. And this one's going to be 1 inch. So 3 3/4 and 4 3/4. There's that one. This one is 5 by 8.5. Oops, I think I got those out of order. I did. Okay, so this one's going to be, so this one's 5 by 8.5, and it's going to be your 3 3/4 plus 1 inch, which is 4 3/4. And then this one, which we've accidentally already scored, is going to be a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So if you want to cut another one there, you can, but I am not worried about it. Okay, well, my dog decided to bark. I put away my scoreboard and I reinforced the folds in my pages. So you take the one with the biggest spine, the 2-inch spine, and I'm just going to use Ultra Bond adhesive. You can use art glitter glue. You can use Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. You can use score tape, which almost all of those Crystal sells in the store. My dog is nesting. Will you sit down already? Okay, and then you just put it right in the middle of the hinges, or of the book spine. Make sure that it's straight, top to bottom, and that we're firmly pressed down in the middle. That looks good. Go to the next size. I'm not putting it all the way to the edge because it'll spread out. And we're going to go here and just put this right in the middle of those two. And you're going to leave yourself about 1/4 inch on both sides. If you're a little off, it's not going to matter too much. Straighten it up with your other pages. There we go. Take your next size, do the same thing. Leaving about 1/4 inch on both sides. And then finally your smallest page, which again we accidentally scored extra, but it's not going to bother anything because we're going to mat it anyways. Okay, and we're going to put that right on top and in the middle. So your middle page has a 1/2 inch gusset when all the other ones just have 1/4 inch gussets. So if you have anything big that you want to put in there, put it in the middle. Your decorations, your flowers, etc. Okay, so there is our book. Super simple. And the book itself, I made it like every other book I've ever made. I'll link one below so you can see it. And I just put the ribbon on before I put the pages on the inside, or the mat on the inside. So next, let's make our pages. I wanted to make this a very simple album. It's going to be all basically one page design. A page on the front, a page on the back. And then I did cut some mats already, so it's going to be a super simple project. I'm only going to do one with you since they're all going to be the same, and we'll just start in the back. So I have some 2-inch strips cut to 4 3/4. This page is 3 3/4. So this is going to be our pocket. And we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch on both sides, which means that we're scoring at a 1/2 inch and 4 1/4. And then I have, this is going to be a flap that tucks under the pocket. We're going to score this 3 1/2 by 2 3/4 piece of paper at a 1/2 inch, which is, I just used 3 inches so I don't have to put my hand all up under there. And then this piece is actually going to go on the opposite page. I cut this one at 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. We're also scoring that at a 1/2 inch. So at 3 1/4 or at a 1/2 inch. And those are going to be the only pages that we need, or the only flaps, pockets, extra pieces of paper besides our inserts, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So this one's going to be super simple on the back of each page, including this page, but we're going to work side by side. You just take this longer flap, and we're just going to add an extra page in there. You add the extra page in there by taking the flap, the score, adding glue or score tape, or however you want to do it, and putting it right on top. Now this page is a 1/4 inch shorter than your base pages, so you're going to have an 1/8 inch at the top and bottom, and I think that just adds some interest. Then you're going to take your long skinny piece that you scored at a 1/2 inch on both sides, and you're going to, on this side, make a pocket, which means that you put glue on the left and right tabs, and then across the bottom, like that. And you just make sure that you don't go over this fold over here. Okay. And then finally, this small piece, you just fold that 1/2 inch, and this is going to be a flap that we're going to hold in with our inserts. That one kind of folded crooked. Let's straighten it out. We're going to add glue. Got a little extra. And then that's going to go, make sure that it doesn't cover your pocket. It's just going to line up here on, oops, on the right hand side. Okay, and then every page is going to be exactly the same. You can add a border if you want, you can add a punch. I do have some inserts. I cut these 3 by 4, and I cut these 6 by 4. So I'm going to take the 6 by 4s, and we're going to score those at 3 inches. Fold those in half, and you can always add a decorative border to them, or a like tab, but that is going to go in this little pocket, and it's going to hold this flap shut along with one of these guys. Alright, so there is our page assembly for this little mini album to use up our scraps, I'm going to go ahead and finish this for you guys. And I really hope you guys enjoy the process of seeing how simple it is to make a mini album. Head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy, asccraftsupplies.com. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off all your goodies, chipboards, glues, tapes, other adhesives, and Graphic 45, of course. They also have Stamperia, Ciao Bella, all the newest cool stuff, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.